we have men's sports and women's sports. And if the best team in the WNBA played the worst team in the NBA, the score would be 1,000,000-0. Can we organize society around that basic point with this, of course, proviso that we protect and respect people who do not fit into it?
Let's segregate society between
That's
dark-skinned
not
people and
segregating.
light-skinned people because that nature made it that way, and that's how it is.
All right, guys, so we got to talk about an extremely fascinating conversation that Trump deranged classical liberal Bill Maher had with woke fake TV scientist Neil deGrasse Tyson, okay? Because I think this conversation is a prime example of the difference between the ultra woke left, okay, and classical liberals, okay? As Neil deGrasse Tyson is an ultra woke lefty scientist who, because of his woke ideology, he's not really in touch with reality, okay? And Bill Maher, who is a classical liberal, he's still in touch with reality. He rejects the woke left, okay? He still has some common sense. He just hates Trump, right? Which in some circles, right, in lefty circles, makes Bill Maher a conservative, right? A hardcore right-winger, okay? That's how messed up our political landscape is in 2023. But anyways, in this conversation with Neil deGrasse Tyson, Bill Maher is going to drop a truth bomb on Neil deGrasse Tyson and really get to the heart of why people like Neil deGrasse Tyson, who's woke, but at the same time, I mean, he's clearly not a stupid guy, right? Why is it that people like him are letting these woke revolutionaries, whether they be kids on college campuses or just, again, the woke extremists in general, get away with, for example, trying to ban free speech on college campuses? Because, again, this whole conversation started when they started talking about how comedians don't go to college campuses anymore because Generation Z is too soft for jokes, right? Any joke that's even a little edgy, again, these people lose their minds, right? Because they don't like opinions that they disagree with, right? And this is kind of how the conversation started, and it's a pretty fascinating conversation that I want to react to. But before we get into it, we have to have a word from the sponsor of this video, BioTrust. When it comes to stubborn belly fat, we're all looking for a miracle pill. Generally, you have to use multiple different products that target belly fat differently to manage excess fat around the abdominal area. Some products may focus on abdominal exercises or dietary changes, while others may focus on boosting metabolism or controlling cravings. Believe it or not, I found an exceptional alternative that uses naturally sourced and science-backed ingredients from Mother Earth and is more effective at targeting that stubborn belly fat, enhancing metabolism and promoting a toned midsection better than most weight management products that I've seen on the shelves at stores. And that is Belly Trim by BioTrust. Tens of thousands of 5-star reviews back up the notion that this amazing pill is not only a breakthrough in a bottle, but that it also helps remove the need for us to use countless diet pills and fat-burning supplements. The best part I love is that you can get 51% off for the rest of the month or until they sell out, whichever comes first. Plus, you'll receive several additional gifts valued at over $500 with every order for a limited time, including free shipping, a 60-day satisfaction guarantee, free VIP live health and fitness coaching for life, and 2 free new ebooks titled Top 10 Foods That Burn Belly Fat and Top 8 Exercises to Reduce Belly Fat at no additional cost to you. Go to trimwithpatriot.com. That's trimwithpatriot.com, or click the link down in the description below before this once-in-a-lifetime deal sells out.
I got woke kids. I will never be as woke as my kids would want me to be, ever.
Yeah, but you're a little too, still. And, you know, woke does not automatically mean better. Newer does not automatically mean
that's
better.
true.
So that's why I say to talk broadly is bullshit. You have to talk about what specific, issue are we talking about? The ones that get people's attention or gender issues.
Yeah, I know, but what?
Things like that. Okay, this is
Bill,
very different
You cut your teeth in the
But
70s.
what I'm saying
and
is-
you read the room.
Okay, but I'll answer
you read the politics.
I'll answer- I didn't read the politics.
Yes, you did.
How the do you know what I did?
Because I know your jokes of the era. They were great.
Well, a lot of people think they're great now.
Okay, they're still great.
I don't know if you don't any.
No. What I meant was,
Am I not woke enough for
they were
you?
jokes that would work on a college campus. Okay, surely there's a portfolio of
I
jokes that
wouldn't-
would still
if-
work on a college campus. Surely.
I would hope not. From what maybe some college campuses, the ones you read about are fucking insane.
You've given up
And
on an
the
entire generation, and
I
you
have
don't know how to make them
I
laugh.
have given up on any place that doesn't even remotely attempt to believe in free speech and thinks that anything that they hear that they don't like, that they don't agree with, is violence. These people are nuts, and you should be calling them out. Somebody like you, who has standing with kids, should be not
I do
joining
when-
them.
when there's a science
you're doing what
objectivity to it,
you're
yes.
doing what parents do. You're
What's that?
taking the path of least resistance, and therefore hurting the kids and yourself. Parents ruin both their lives. They ruin their spoiled kids' lives, and they ruin their own lives because the kids rule the roost. So that's what you're doing on a national level.
I'm feeling more like on the porch. Get off my lawn.
Really?
you young
I feel like
whippersnapper.
we're in the barber shop.
Well, that works too. In the inner city, it's the barber shop. We don't have porches in the. Well, there's the stoop. There's the stoop. So here's my point.
That's my
I'm
piece.
trying to get through to people on my social media and the like, and I see what pisses people off, what they react to, and I say, all right, these are the landmines. I'm going to navigate that. I'm going to navigate.
Okay, you're
So I navigate it so that I can say, because my father's greatest bit of wisdom to me, several nuggets. One of them was, it's not good enough to be right. You also have to be effective. And if you reject the college campus, then you have no influence on them. They're not going to say, oh, we're not going to get Bill, maybe we should change. Then you have
You know
no
what?
influence on them.
Sweetheart, I can wait till they grow up a little. Okay, I can wait. You don't know what you're talking about. You don't know what you're talking about with
You gonna
comedians.
pull age rank on me?
Comedian. No, you don't know what I'm talking about. You know you know outer space.
Well, what I will tell you,
I know doing comedy
I'm a
shows.
huge consumer of your trade.
Yeah, so you seen that, you heard that. Now, what I find to be so fascinating about this clip is because even though Bill Maher has Trump derangement syndrome, probably one of the most severe cases in the country, I've talked about this a lot over the past few days. When it comes to his criticisms of the left, the man is spot on, right? He's probably one of the best when it comes to calling out the left and the problems that are on the left. And in this case right here, what he said to Neil deGrasse Tyson in regards to how people like him are a part of the problem when it comes to letting woke extremism get out of control is 100% spot on, because he's right. People like Neil deGrasse Tyson, who's woke, but yet he knows better, right? As an astrophysicist, he knows better. This guy knows better. He's playing go along to get along with what he knows to be woke extremists, right? Like, he is taking the path of least resistance, like Bill Maher said. He's trying not to upset them. He's trying not to hurt their feelings. Because, again, he wants to play go along and get along. He wants to be a part of the club. He don't want to, again, hurt anybody or be disliked, okay, or lose his influence among the woke college crowd, right? But the fact that he does not call out the nonsense, the extremism that you see from the left, is the reason why they're able to get away with it, right? This is the same problem with the Democrat Party. You don't think the Democrat Party knows that the extreme left is a problem? Of course they know that the extreme left is a problem. However, they're not going to call them out. They're not going to really address it because they don't want to lose that support, okay? They don't want to lose the support. This is why they said nothing about the BLM riots. They said nothing about Roe v. Wade. They're not really saying too much about the pro-Palestine protests and riots. They're not going to say too much about the far leftists because, again, they don't want to lose that support. But again, it's this path of least resistance that Bill Maher is talking about. That is a part of the problem. That is the problem, okay? Everybody should be upset when you can't even have conservatives or even comedians, or not even conservatives, just comedians. You can't even have a comedian on campus without these people throwing a fit, right? Losing their minds, okay? These people can't even stand to hear a political opinion that they disagree with. yeah, everybody should call out these college students and say, no, this is not right. Okay. And honestly, these college students should be punished. But again, what happens is that you have the powers that be, right? They capitulate to this stuff. Okay. Just need to understand that, these kids are hurting and that they're oppressed and yada, 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 instead of just, calling them out, right? Saying that, look, this is not right. Sometimes you just have to hear things that you don't like, okay? You have to be able to have discussions with people that you disagree with politically, okay? But again, the response here from Neil deGrasse Tyson, again, tells you why people like him are part of the problem. He says, well, I just feel like, the important thing is not being right. It's navigating the landmines, aka not trying to piss people off, right? Again, which tells you everything you need to know about this man's mindset. His whole thing is not making people upset, right? Be damn the truth. The truth doesn't matter, okay? Reality doesn't matter. I just don't want to make people upset, which is why Neil deGrasse Tyson has basically stunned people with his position on certain issues, like, for example, when it comes to protecting women's sports, where, again, he's trying to do this thing that, honestly, you can't do in 2023, which is to try to thread the needle to make everybody happy when it comes to this issue of protecting women's sports. But he doesn't realize that as a so-called astrophysicist, as a scientist, he's really making himself look stupid, right, and silly with trying to fit a square peg in a round hole when it comes to this issue. Take a look.
Again, this
Because
is
what you really want, wait, Bill, no, I've thought this through more than you might think I have.
Oh.
So what you really want is an interesting contest between people who are similarly talented. The least interesting Super Bowl you could ever watch is a blowout by halftime.
See, what we agree on is that there are anomalies in human nature, whereas
Yes.
the vast majority of people, I'm sorry, are still male or female. And certainly every cell in our body is dictating one of those other sexes. I mean, obviously,
Well, the hormones are. Yeah.
Obviously, also I make sperm and other people make eggs.
That's what hormones do. Yeah.
You can't deny that. Okay. So but as liberals, I think agree that, there are anomalies in nature and they should be respected and protected. But this attempt to reorganize all of society around what a very tiny percentage, who again we can protect and respect without pretending that every baby is a jump ball like penis. What the I don't know, that doesn't mean anything. We have no idea what this child is. I mean, that seems to be where you want to go. I mean, like, how many people fit this description that we should reorganize sports around? We have men's sports and women's sports. And if the best team in the WNBA played the worst team in the NBA, the score would be 1,000,000-0. Can we organize society around that basic point with this, of course, proviso that we protect and respect people who do not fit into it?
Let's segregate society between
That's
dark-skinned
not
people and
segregating.
light-skinned people
Because
that nature made it that way, and that's how it is. So,
Well, nature did make it that way.
You are,
And it's not segregating.
well, there
It's
was a
not
time
segregating anything.
that attitude 150 years ago
it's not-
was
2 years ago. You act like this was yes, right. Lincoln. This was a big issue in the Lincoln-Douglas debates. Trans people. That's
No,
right.
I'm talking about
I
black,
remember
white.
that from
I'm talking about black.
1861. Yes, I remember those debates.
It was 1860,
and
I think,
Lincoln
but yeah.
was all about getting trans. Oh, for sake. You're ridiculous.
No. So here it is. So if we can split wrestling into 10 categories, and that becomes the wrestling match.
But all men against each other.
Correct. So, so
again,
now
the
I get
sort
that.
of key point.
Okay. Okay. So all I'm saying is, what is it that makes the man the man? Is it the hormones? Okay. Is it if it's the hormones and you decide to give yourself a different cocktail of hormones? I'm making this up, by the way. I'm not saying it should happen this way. It's a way to start thinking about it.
It would be
maybe the track meets have hormone categories.
And maybe giving yourself the wrong hormones is deleterious to your health. Would you not admit that? Do you think we can just safely do things like this?
So you feel this way because you're so deeply concerned about the health of the people who are trying to find their place on the gender spectrum? You care about their health so much that
Yeah,
you don't
well,
want them to go through that?
It's not something that keeps me up at night, but when the
Right.
subject comes up, I care about them like I care about all people. So if there is
You
something,
do, by the way. You think about all people.
of course.
Yeah, I
Is
give,
that
that.
a-
I
is
give
that-
you that. That's
Oh,
a good
okay.
point.
You're being
You think about all
sincere?
people. No, I'm being
Yeah, I
sincere.
do. Yes.
Yeah, so you seen that, you heard that, okay? You kind of see what I'm talking about here in regards to how Neil deGrasse Tyson clearly knows what the reality is on this issue, okay? But again, what he's trying to do is that he's trying not to piss anybody off. And what he doesn't realize is that there is no middle ground in this issue that the woke revolutionaries are willing to accept, okay? There are none, because he wants to basically say, well, we can find a way. We can find a way to make it work, because what everybody wants to see is fair competition. And since hormones dictate what is a man or what is a woman, okay, this is what he says, then therefore we should segregate sports based off hormones. But again, what this guy is failing to understand and to acknowledge is the fact that when you have somebody that was, for example, born a biological male, and they go through puberty and they start taking puberty blockers, or they start taking, feminizing drugs or whatever, it doesn't matter, okay, that they have lowered their testosterone. There's still biological advantages that they possess just based off the fact that they were born male, okay, especially if they went through puberty, right? And you cannot change those things. These things are permanent. Again, he's completely refusing to acknowledge that, okay? He's completely refusing to acknowledge it. Second of all, he wants to compare segregation, racial segregation, to what people with common sense want to do when it comes to sports, which is to keep it separated based off sex. When, again, as an astrophysicist, as a scientist, he should know that the differences between sexes is much greater than the differences between race, right? I think we all agree that we shouldn't be segregated based off race. There's not that much of a difference. But when it comes to sex, biologically, there is enough of a difference where it does make sense in some aspects of society, like, for example, bathrooms, sporting events, right? Beauty pageants, things like that. Yeah, we should be separated. Now, if you want to call it segregation, call it segregation. But that's what we should do, right? Because there's enough of a biological difference where it makes sense to segregate based off sex. Again, it blows my mind how this guy can be a scientist, but he fails to understand that the logic behind what he's trying to do does not make sense, what he's proposing. But again, what he's doing is that he's trying to make everybody happy when there is nothing that he can do to make everybody happy, because the wokes that this guy is trying his hard not to piss off, they're not going to accept anything less than what they want. Evidenced by the fact that you've had athletic competitions say, hey, we're going to have a competition just for trans people, right? Trans people can compete amongst themselves, and trans people decided not to show up. Why? Because they don't want to compete amongst themselves. Okay, that is the fair solution. The fair solution is to have men compete against men, women compete against women, and trans people compete against themselves or based off their biological sex they were born with, right? But they don't want that, okay? They don't want that. So anything that Neil deGrasse Tyson is trying to do here in order to appease them, the middle ground, it's not going to work. Because even if you have a male and a female that have the same hormone profile because of artificial or human intervention, the biological male is still going to have the advantage. It's still going to be unfair because males are born with biological advantages that cannot be reversed. They cannot be changed. It's just simply not fair, okay? Period. But again, because this guy, like Bill Maher said, wants to take the path of least resistance, he finds himself as a so-called scientist going against the science, right? And that's like the fascinating thing here. He's discrediting himself as a scientist to not hurt anybody's feelings, right? He doesn't want anybody to cry or to get hurt by basic biological facts. It's amazing stuff. So again, I think Bill Maher here in this little conversation, why this conversation is so fascinating is because he actually really does get to the heart of the issue here, and the fact that a vast majority of society knows that what is being proposed by the far left does not make sense. But you have people that capitulate and try to get on board with it because, again, they're more concerned about hurt feelings than they are about being right or what's right or, what actually really makes sense in regards to how society should function. And that is the reason why the woke extremists are allowed to get away with basically turning society upside down, because of people like Neil deGrasse Tyson, who fail to call out the extremism that doesn't make sense, even though he knows in his head it doesn't make sense, right? So let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.